Hello Sunshine, this is Joy from Michigan in the US, and today I wanted to talk to you about how to finish your paintings before I do a pour. So we're going to do a little both. This painting has dried for about a month now, and in order to prep it for finishing, I've went ahead and washed it. I just used a wet paper towel. If you were going to resin, it's got to be a lot more thorough than that because resin will not adhere to where the oil is. So this is my painting, Tropical Paradise, like I said, about a month old. You can see it's I hope you can see. It's like a semi-gloss almost. It's not real shiny, but it's not real dull either. I prefer my paintings to have a shiny finish. So this is just my method. There's about, as many methods out there for finishing paintings as there are artists. So take it or leave it, either way. This is my preferred finish if I want a shiny finish and I don't want to mess with resin. Resin is a lot of work. So this is the Liquitex Gloss Varnish. It provides a really, really pretty shine. It can look similar to resin with enough coats. I don't usually do that many coats. I'll do typically 2. If I want it to be more glass-like, I'll do 4. So I've created this little tin foil holder for my varnish. And I have brushes that I only use for varnish. So this is one of them. I like the big size of this because it makes my work very quick. Once you put your varnish on, you don't want to keep going over it. So it needs to go on pretty quickly. I think it was a minute or 2 that you had to work with it. So basically, once I put one swipe down, I'm not going to add any more on top of that. I'm not going to go back over it with my brush. I'm going to leave it. So the first time I will go this way. Second time I'll go this way. If I want it to be even glossier, my third coat will go this way. My fourth coat will go this way. So my brush lines don't ever repeat. That's the goal. And I do end up with a lovely, lovely finish. So I'm just gonna load up my brush. I'm trying to do this so you guys can see. And then I just back and forth. I do try to hit the edges. I don't worry too much because I hit them every time. And it is easier for me to do this at an angle. So if I tip this, I'd have to do it the other way, but I can kind of see where I left off and see if I've missed any spots. So I will check that once I finish varnishing the top of this. I will just look and see if I missed anything. And if you did, because I'm doing multiple coats, I don't worry too much if I've missed a spot. That's not a big deal. That's not a deal breaker. It'll be hit on the next one and it will all dry and it won't look uneven. But one thing that I noticed that it does, which is why I love to use this varnish, is it really brings those colors back to life. It kind of brightens them back up a bit. I have several paintings that I'm anxious to varnish because they've dried so dull, and I'm hoping that the varnish will bring those colors right back up. So we'll have to wait and see on those. I do wait a full month just to make sure, oh, pardon me, I'm running into stuff in my art room. Just to make sure that everything is completely dry. And I'm going back over areas where I normally wouldn't. Okay, that looks good. So I do try to save whatever little bit of varnish. I try to use the brush and then scrape it into the back into the container, but you don't have to do that. And then I just leave this to dry, so it's got a good coating of varnish on the bottom. If it was a plastic container, I'd probably peel that out every time. And then I just clean my brush with soap and water, and that's it. And I will let this sit for at least 3 hours, typically more, just because I don't necessarily have a whole day set aside for varnishing. So let it sit for 3 hours and then do the next coat. Typically for me, unless I'm working on a weekend, it'll take me several days to get every single coat done just because of my timing. And that's okay too. If it's been quite a while and you haven't got your next coat on, go ahead and wipe it off with a wet paper towel again, just to make sure that everything is clean and you're not sealing in any dust. All right, guys, I will be back with you momentarily with my pour for today. All right, guys, I am back with you. And I want to start off with an apology because I started this whole process yesterday, and the last few days have just kind of been crazy for me. I never got back to actually doing the pour. So I am all set up. I am going to do another dip for you guys today. And I'm going to use mostly warm colors with some metallics and some iridescent white. So we shall see how this goes. I'm going to work with a 12 by 12 canvas. I have my canvas all prepped with my great big push pins on the back so that it's easier to lift and it can dry with those on so that you don't end up with it stuck to whatever surface you have it drying on. All right, I am going to start, I kind of think I want to do lighter here and then darker towards the bottom. So I have iridescent white, and I'm going to stick with the chevron like I did last time. Iridescent white, just, I had purchased an iridescent white. This is an upside down puppy pad that I'm pouring on, so hopefully it works okay. I really want my corners to be very light, so put a lot of white down. Excuse me. All right. Oh, I think I might switch to the bottom because I'm not 100% certain what all I want up there. So I'm going to start with crimson. I did thicken this up if you guys have watched my previous videos. Oh, my goodness sakes. Didn't mean to pull that hard. Get you guys back lined up. It was a little thin, so I did thicken this up and then put it back in the bottle today. Oh, I almost knocked my paint over. Okay, and then I've got cadmium orange hue. So I'm using a lot of warm colors today. I am going to throw in a little bit of purple, so that should be interesting. Not sure what all that will do, but we'll try it. This is my custom goldenrod color, which is cadmium medium yellow hue plus cadmium orange hue with a little drop of dioxazine purple. I should have done this alternating instead of going the same way, but that's okay. And I have a lovely copper. This one's gonna be difficult because it's in a bottle, so I can't. The squeeze bottles are so nice because they're easy to control how much comes out at once. I do want some metallic up at the top as well. Oh goodness, see? I just wasted all that copper. I'll dip my edge in that. And if you watched my previous dip, you know I messed up my edges, so I'm gonna try not to do that today. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in, this is an iridescent purple that I made up for another pour. So it's Dioxazine Purple plus iridescent medium and a little bit of white. And I'm gonna put this towards the bottom because I really don't want it to mix with the yellow too much. I feel like there was a clump in there, guys. Anybody else see that? Might as well use this up. Just gonna finish that off right there. Okay. Let's see. I could tilt this one a little because you can just lift, but I don't know that I want to do that a whole lot. I'm indecisive. All right, let's use some of this cadmium medium hue. Red medium hue. Mix that in with the crimson as well, why not? And then we'll add some more orange down here. So I've got to have enough paint to completely cover this. And I have a lot of gaps right now. So I'm just going to keep layering the colors until I feel like I've got it well covered. All right, let's add some silver. I'll start up at the top. And I don't have a lot of silver left, so I'm gonna have to be strategic about where I'm putting it. Oh, there we go, see? Just add a few little drops here and there. Fill in some of those holes. I do have some more silver that I'm mixing up, but if you guys have watched my previous videos about mixing these up, you know I can't just mix it up and use it. This is a very thick paint and I mix it up at least a day in advance. Otherwise, excuse me, I end up with just a big mess. You know, I was going to try to take out that clump in the purple. Is it right here? Oh, maybe not. Now I don't know where it was. That's just a bubble. Oh well, if it ends up on the painting, we'll take it out then. All right, what else? What else? Let's add a little more of this iridescent white, especially at the top. I don't want a whole lot of white with the red because it will make pink, and I want nice vibrant colors today. So let's add some yellow and orange up at the top. What do you think, guys? Did I pick okay colors this time? Last time the colors all worked together so beautifully. I was so happy with them. I hope the same thing happens today. Look at that big section with no paint. I have to add something there. All right, I think that's enough of the copper. I do have, guys, I almost forgot. I have some gold I just mixed up. This is that 24 karat gold by Deco Art. Absolutely gorgeous color. And it just dries beautifully. It does sometimes have a tendency to take over, so I try to be careful how much of it I use. If I don't want the gold to take over, then you need to think that through, I guess is all I'm saying. Give everything a little bit of a sheen. My table's full again. I need some more crimson, I think. This one's gonna, I hope the red doesn't take over, but excuse me. Allergy season in Michigan for sure. Add a little more iridescent white up here. Okay. I have a few spots left, but I'm just gonna kind of go through and add a little paint and hope that it fills everything in. And of course, the paint will spread when I put the canvas on it as well, so I shouldn't have to worry too terribly much about the spots that aren't filled, but better to be safe than sorry, right? Right here, add a little bit of yellow. More yellow up there. Okay, so one thing I like to do, especially after my experience with my last dip, I didn't do my edges first and tried to do them after I had done all this, and it ended up messing up the colors in my opinion. So I'm going to just put the edges in the paint. Oh, I didn't tape this down, so this could be really interesting. Okay. This part's kind of boring, I apologize. All right, so let's just go ahead and put that down. I'm gonna let it sit for a minute. Hopefully this turns out beautiful. Bright and uplifting is what we're looking for. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I do like to go through and just kind of massage the canvas, let that paint really seep in. If it wiggles around, I don't worry too much about that, because really the effect that you're gonna see is gonna be from the lifting. So it's okay if it moves around a little. Trying to make sure every part of my canvas is covered. All right, this is going to be tricky because I didn't tape this down, so bear with me as I try to do this. I don't know. Don't know how to grab it. All right, oh goodness, look at that big section that got missed. All right, let's try that again. Unfortunately, I don't really want to put it back in there, but that was a really big section. I can fix little things just by using a balloon, but that was a big section. Hopefully my colors don't go too muddy. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Oh, dripping paint, dripping paint. Not sure, guys. I liked the blues better, that's for sure. But I think this is pretty too. So, I like the gold in it. It definitely created some beautiful effects. They got rid of the wet, the dry spot, but this right here, let me see if I can just pull that down a little. Okay, let's find my heat. And let's try to dry this. Not dry it, just heat it and pop the air bubbles. All right, what is that? I did see one section right here. Do you see that little white line? So you can just take your finger and kind of pull the paint around it down and fix it. Easy peasy. I'm just gonna check it over real quick and make sure that there's no sections that are missing paint. If there are, I will fix it with my finger just like I showed you. And then I will take you guys in for a close-up. Not 100% sure what I think of this one. I think it's gonna need to dry before I'm certain what I think. But warm colors are not always my favorite. I like cool colors, so I feel like I have a hard time judging whether or not a warm color painting turned out nice. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you'd hit the subscribe button. If you've already subscribed, thank you so very much. I appreciate that. I love each and every one of my subscribers and love hearing from you guys. Barbara, I will try to add a photo of the quilt that you and I had talked about on the comments on another video. So if you see a photo of a quilt and you go, why is that there? That was there for Barbara. I told her I would try to show her a quilt that was made for my daughter. So, all right, guys, thanks so much. I will see you on the next one. All right, guys, back with you. Just wanted to add a little bit about the varnish that I did yesterday. So I showed you the varnish going on this painting. So I'm going to try to show you how it dried. It is probably 24 hours later. You can see it's nice glossy, but not super. It doesn't look like glass, but it's just a glossy finish. This is just one coat still. And then I really wish I had showed you guys the difference between this one before varnish and after, because it looked very dull. The colors kind of melted into each other and you couldn't see all these distinct differences, and it just turned out so lovely with the varnish. I will add a couple more coats to this one, probably 3 or 4, but you can see it's a nice, shiny, fairly even finish. So that's just one coat of the Liquitex gloss varnish. I will, of course, add more, probably 3 or 4 on the purple, and another 3 or 4 total on the purple, and 2 or 3 total on the lighter yellow and blue and orange. So just wanted to share that with you guys so you could see the results after the varnish has had a chance to dry. I will see you guys on the next one.